Hi, today's book is the following. The set to art of not giving fuck, whose author is Mark Manson. Obviously, today we are just going to cover chapter number 6, which says what you know is wrong, or simply put, you are wrong about everything. So let's get started with an experience. Let's assume that you go to a specific place. There is more. Every time you go to this specific place, there is a button. This button, by default, is broken. But every time you press that button, there is electricity, even though the button is broken. What will happen in your brain is the following. You will make association that if I press that button, there will be electricity, right? Right. And let's assume here that you don't know anything about the broken button. The secret here is that someone else is controlling that button. But because your brain and you both don't know who is behind this experience, your brain will make sure that that button is working perfectly. Therefore, you will believe that that button is working correctly. Once again, your brain will misguide you. This is our first experience. Now let's jump into our world. Back in the day, we used to believe that the sun, for example, moved around Earth. Today or nowadays, it's false. Second, third, we used to believe as human beings that fire were made of specific substance. Today, it's proven it's wrong. Fourth, everyone at least over 40 or over 30 knows that back in the day we used to believe a lot of things when we were obviously kids. And nowadays, most of those things we don't believe anymore. Do you? Of course not. The idea of this chapter is to show and prove you that even though your brain is really an interesting organ, but it's imperfect as well. It might misguide you, okay? Not everything you see and not everything you hear either is the way your brain interprets it, okay? Therefore, in order for us to thrive and to acknowledge information, we should and we need to deconstruct a lot of creeds and beliefs that we somehow gotten past. This is the best way to get knowledge. The best way to get knowledge is not being certain about facts, is having doubts about facts. The best way to get knowledge and to become wiser is from time to time to deconstruct what you used to believe, to check if what you believe is true or false. Why don't you start asking you these questions? This question, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong about my religion? What if I'm wrong about my beliefs? What if I'm wrong about my knowledge? What if I'm wrong about my environment? What if I'm wrong about this universe? So by starting asking yourself this type of question, this is the best way to start looking for new answers. So once again, don't be so sure about what you have already learned. Check your knowledge. The idea behind this chapter is to motivate you from this day on that your brain might misguide you. that the best way to acknowledge information is through doubt, not through certainty. Remember, there are a lot of things that you used to believe and we used to believe as human beings. Nowadays, they are false. Okay? Maybe these things that we believe today, 20 years from now, they will also be wrong. So the idea is don't be sure about anyone, about anything that you know either. Things can change, and the best way to learn about things is to deconstruct a lot of things or a lot of burden that we used to have. Remember about that previous experience.